Hey guys, so in this video, I'm going to talk about what I have been learning and integrating within myself around self-healing my teeth and gums and the throat chakra. It's been a journey. When I first started this YouTube channel, I was just getting into understanding and exploring. I wasn't even understanding it. I was just exploring the mind-body connection. And that was like 5 years ago, and I have had a mind-body journal and mind-body practices for the last 4 years. And I've just learned a lot through my body and conversations with the body. And it's made me feel better in so many ways, not just in the jaw and the gums, but also just in the body as a whole. And so I just wanted to do a redo from my first video to now. I took down the first video because it was so young and naive. And I just want to talk on that stuff. So throat chakra. Throat chakra is the chimney of the heart. Heart chakra is right here. It's green. I'm wearing green. We got the heart vibes going. We have the blue throat chakra vibes going, and solar plexus in a more pinkish tone of the heart going today. But it is the chimney of the heart, right? So we have heart, we have love, we have our soul's essence tucked deep inside. And ideally, when we're speaking from a place of the beauty, integrity, wisdom, and love of our souls, which unfortunately isn't the case a lot of the times, especially with the conditioning that we're raised with, especially with the epigenetics that we inherit through our incarnation, right? So, working with the throat chakra, you have to have that in your awareness. And then it's just like, where do I begin? Like, I remember when I was first exploring throat chakra healing and like a baby when it came to chakras and energy work. And I thought that doing Reiki and meditating on the throat chakra through guided meditations was like enough to heal it, but I was missing the mind body component. And so it was a great starting place and it eventually led me to the mind body component, but it was not like the cure all type thing. And I'm not saying this is a cure either. But then when I got into the mind body stuff, there was just so much that I realized that the mouth stored. Um, like for example, I've been learning in the last year or so that our teeth and our gums are straight connections to our ancestors and our family tree, which when you think of the teeth, they have roots. They have little roots that go into the jaw. Our jaw supports the teeth, right? They support the gums. And so those who might have had significant bone loss in their jaws might have had a lot of absence of support when it came to speaking their truth or being heard in what they're speaking, and might have had deterioration in the jaw, which then created receding gums and then wobbly teeth, right? And for me, I have learned that, um, yeah, when my jawbone was receding, it's now on the mend. But when it was receding, um, or deteriorating, that started at a time in my life where I was feeling super, super unsupported in speaking. I was like newly married. My sister-in-law had disrespected me, and then my husband didn't really have my back and wasn't hearing me. And then I also felt like some of my soul family wasn't hearing me, and then I wasn't feeling heard by my biological family. So like my jawbone just felt unsupported. And at that time, I had not even learned about really connecting with ancestors in a deep way. It was in my awareness, but I hadn't really gone into the practices yet. And so I didn't feel supported by my ancestors or the family tree either. And so fast forward to now, I feel deeply connected to my ancestors. I do feel supported in speaking my truth. I do feel heard in speaking my truth. I hear myself, and that's a huge part of this. Are you hearing yourself speak? Are you supporting yourself as you speak? Are you being compassionate to yourself? Are you not beating yourself up? Are you holding space for yourself and doing like parts work and all that stuff? Like, are you having the inner communication that is needed for the jaw to be a support to the rest of the mouth, right? Um, so yeah, my jaw is doing a lot better, and I'm very thankful for that because I was very worried for a long time. And then I combined that with like guided visualizations where I would self-guide myself into visualizing my jawbone repairing, which there's studies out there and there's a lot of testimonials on people that have done this stuff. You just have to do it for yourself and trust your intuition and your inner knowing. And then I also did visualizations around my gums and around my teeth. And then on top of that, I would meditate outside with Mother Earth and ask her to connect me to the bones of my ancestors and kind of use her like a phone to connect with my ancestors and then bring in light from the family tree, weaving it in from my feet up to my body into my teeth and allowing the family tree to be nourished by my ancestors who reside within Mother Earth and have been composted by Mother Earth, bringing healing in that way as well, and really working with that earth element and the gums and the teeth. And then I did a ton of journaling. I still journal, and mind body stuff. And there was one point where I felt like I had flatlined a little bit and couldn't, or not flatlined, like plateaued, and felt like I couldn't figure out a missing piece. And I realized what it was there were vows of secrecy in my family tree and within myself, that another YouTuber mentioned in one of her free transmissions. Her name is This is Maria. Um, you can find her on YouTube. That is the channel name. This is Maria, spelled Mariya. And she had mentioned vows of secrecy and how they can look like dark coins in your throat chakra. And so I went through and did as she said and used a sword of light and envisioned the light dissolving the dark coins and bringing light into those spaces so that the vows of secrecy could be removed and so that truth could be told, truth with a capital T for myself and for others, right? And I feel like that really just clicked everything into place where my jaw could replenish like instantly. And then I worked again with more throat chakra meditations, but different ones. And then I did family constellations work as well. And one of the sessions, my gums and my knees came up in it, and both have substantially like just healed. And it's been so great. And so there's that as well. Um, and I feel like even my face is starting to like change shape to match my jaw healing and my teeth and gums stabilizing. And I've started writing more poetry, which when you write, like you're also working your throat chakra. And I realize like the vows of secrecy, like also like pertains to like your family, like to be seen, not heard. Like it might not be a vow of secrecy per se, but it's a behavior, it's a pattern. And I had been loyal to that for so long. And when I allowed that to like be let go of, um, and honored and then let go of, in constellations, um, it seems like then I became more comfortable speaking and being seen speaking and writing. And I got really comfortable with this notion that my writing teacher had said on her Facebook, which was to poem is to pray. And so I started taking my writing to poetry and just praying in that way. And it really gave me so much peace. And I poemed and poemed and poemed about all the unprocessed stuff that I had around my twin flame, all the stuff that I hadn't spoken, that I hadn't gotten to speak to anybody. I poemed and poemed and poemed about my marriage. I poemed about nature. I poemed about my body. I poemed about my soul family. And I feel like it just like healed my stuff so much because there's just so much congested energy. And I mean, there was a series of years that I went through with like really bad writer's block where nothing was coming out. And that was when I had really bad TMJ. I thought I was going to have surgery, but I didn't because thankfully the throat chakra work I was doing at that time and the speaking my truth layer that I was in at that time was enough to pull me through, to where that's a thing of the past. However, I still was having stuff going on. And then it seemed to be like when I started doing the poeming and praying, that really freed stuff up as well. And this is all like comprehensive and it's all synergy and it all connects. And it might seem like a lot at once, but I feel like if you're on a healing path, you'll just go where your body guides you because you want to feel better, right? So like there was also like that to poem is to pray. And then I was really worried about finding an illustrator for my children's book series that I'm working on. And then I feel like I just quit worrying about the illustrator. I got a message from nature or the trees perhaps to just write the book, the whole series, and the illustrator would fall in my lap. And quite literally, I feel like the illustrator was simply like handed to me. I feel like all of it worked out in ways, as Mama Gina would say, even better and wetter than my wildest dreams. And so, and I was like super stressed at one point because I was like talking to an illustrator about paying them and self-publishing, and that was super stressful. And then I was looking at Fiverr, and I felt like all the AI art was really um, not my cup of tea. And then things when I started writing the children's books, and just so like book two um, is in its final revisions, and then book three is now starting to be written, and the illustrator has lined up. And so, anyways, sorry, the energy's coming in really strong right now. I'm like jumbled. So, anyways, that was another thing too, is like my teeth were getting congested because I wasn't writing. Uh, and then when I started writing, they uncongested. And then the other thing, what else? What else? Oh, and then I had heard from Mateus Di Stefano, who is on the Gaia Network or channel, and then he's been interviewed on all kinds of podcasts, but he had mentioned in one of his channeled ones how the teeth represent like our degrees of separation. And the degrees of separation to me means like our degrees of separation where we're separate from God, from Goddess, from our souls, and how that can be healed when working like within yourself. You can heal your teeth and access those spaces through your teeth as well, which you can access it through journaling. You can access it through talking out loud to yourself about these things. Uh, you can access it through meditation, working with intuition, and allowing your teeth to guide you through thumbing into, so like speaking through your arms into your phone. What guided meditation might be helpful for you with the degrees of separation. And then also for me, I saw it as like symbolic of like the degrees of separation from God as well as Goddess, and then the twin flame journey. Like I'm in a twin flame journey of separation, and I've accepted it. And it took me a long freaking time to accept it. And then, yeah, now that I've accepted it, and now that I've really started to heal and embody that healing and integrate that healing, which was a very long time coming, and then a really mind-bending cleanse during a Neptune transit, for me with healing the twin flame stuff inside of myself. I feel like that really helped weave things together as well in my oral health. Which I feel like people on the twin flame journey, a lot of people don't have people to talk to about it. And it is a matter of the heart, and you do want to talk about it. And then you can't because people like peg these perceptions and then think you're crazy, because they simply don't understand. And you can't be mad at them for not understanding, but it's like hard because you just want someone to hold space for you in it, right? Um, and then ultimately you end up holding space for yourself, and you find your way back to God and Goddess in that way. So there was that as well. That also contributed to healing and balancing the throat chakra, which when I first made these videos all those years ago, that was when I was fresh out of heartbreak in my twin flame relationship. I was still rebounding and reeling and recoiling from the pain and the agony of that breakup that we had. Um, and so yeah, I didn't know my teeth and gums were going to take me here, and they did. And I'm glad they did. And I'm glad that I'm not feeling as conflicted as I was about speaking on these things, because I know that I know a lot about the twin flame templates, and there's people that do need to hear about it. So I look forward to seeing what I create in the future for content in regards to twin flames. I do have a twin flame prayer, and I did make a twin flame meditation. Both are really soothing to me and my connection with my twin flame. I see them quite a bit in my dreams these days, and they don't haunt me as much as they used to, if that makes sense. And I feel like my connection with like the Divine Mother is so much more like crystalline and refined than it was when I came into acceptance of what it is to surrender to twin flame separation. Um, and then it got me working that throat chakra, being of service by creating videos, by journaling for myself, but also journaling as a ripple effect for humanity, putting love and peace into the energy field by choosing myself and choosing to healthily emote and process, right? And then um, a more basic thing, not so, what is twin flames and what is that and what degrees of separation, what, but like more basic, like I also, and I still do it kind of because I did it for so long. I would like floss because someone had said when you take care of your mouth that your mouth is also you're able to detox your whole body through like a kind of meditative like ritual with your mouth. So I would floss and I would envision myself like flossing out the energetics of unworthiness. I would envision myself flossing out self-rejection, flossing out self-abandonment, flossing out the wounds of betrayal, flossing out the guilt of secrecy, flossing out the unspoken, flossing out ancestral shame. And each day I would just allow like one or two words to drop on me as I was flossing and floss thinking of that, just letting it move. And then I would use mouthwash and I would gargle and allow it. I had one that had tea tree, and tea tree is very good for purifying metaphysically. So I would allow it to purify as I gargled my throat chakra. And then I also would tongue scrape and imagine myself scraping off all like the energetics of plaque and bacteria and thought forms of unworthiness and not enoughness and you should be ashamed of yourself. And I just really worked on cleaning my mouth energetically and metaphysically in that way as well. And that really helped clean things up as well. And then I worked with affirmations. I told myself for several years, one affirmation I always did as my toothbrush was going was, my teeth are healthy and becoming healthier every day. And I did it at least twice a day because I brushed twice a day, for several years. And then my gums are healthy and becoming healthier. And it kicked in. And I know that one's like a really slow process. And I know people want like instant results, but this stuff took a while to get this way. Chances are it started in another life into this life. And there's also ancestral stuff in it. So you just got to be patient. And that's what your throat chakra is teaching you. It's communicating lessons of the heart around patience and coming back home to yourself and truly hearing yourself, right? Um, so I did that, which I had joint issues years ago, and I used the affirmation, all my soft tissues are healthy and becoming healthier, and the joint issues resolved themselves. And I did those affirmations for about 2 years as well, just once a day. Um, and it made a difference. So I did all of that. And then, I also, when I didn't have time to keep up with rituals or practices or wasn't deep diving into things, I also would record teeth affirmations that I had found on YouTube into my big water jug for the day. And I would drink that water jug. I would do it twice a week because I read somewhere that water takes about like 4 to 5 days to fully cycle out of your body, not just like pee it out, but like we have so much water in us. So to me, drinking that water bottle twice a week was like having teeth affirmations in the cells of my body, giving directions to my stem cells and giving directions to the other cells that assisting my teeth and gums and regenerating and healing, without me having to control and put all this work in it and doing it in a much more surrendered way where I just let water and the organizing intelligence of my body take over. And so that also really was a strong foundation to all of that. I still actually drink affirmation water, and I probably ought to do a video on affirmations. Maybe I'll do that one next. Um, so yeah, there's that. And then of course, like self Reiki, I would just Reiki my throat chakra and move energies out of the throat or work with tuning forks. I also did some biofield tunings for the throat chakra on the biofield tuning website as well over the years. And again, it all adds up. It's all cumulative. It all makes a difference. Even when you feel like it's not making a difference, it truly does. Um, So just hang in there on your journey. Maybe take notes of some of the things I said. And if it's new to you, give it a try and be patient and then see what happens. Um, I am very delighted by all that has happened in my journey. And I look forward to you perhaps being delighted by what happens on your journey. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I will see you on the next one. Bye.